You've all received a packet from our growth team. And by the way, just a quick intro and shout outs to the growth team. Megan, Kendra, Austin, Angie, Britt, Lisa did a tremendous job, and everything you see here is a result of them. I just bossed people around, so it didn't work out well. But they've done a tremendous job. And congrats again to Megan on her promotion. So, and Kendra too, yes, both. So we have something different now at Sequoia. We have a growth team, and it's intentionally not called a marketing team. It's called a growth team for a reason, because our job is to grow, and it's to grow us as individuals, and it's to grow our opportunities. So I want to run you through our growth plan, or if you have it in front of you, your own personalized growth playbook. Okay? And what we're going to talk about isn't one and done. So I like to say there's different ways to do things. There's the shark bite, where you get it done once, it's one and done. And then there's a pirate map. And the pirate map is where you walk 20 paces and then turn right, and then you turn left, and then you go to the skull-shaped thing, and then you dig down 40 feet, and there's the treasure. Our treasure is going to be able to help other people. That's what we're seeking. So we're seeking treasure. So I want us to understand first and foremost, and the foremost thing I think always we should start a conversation is the why. So people always ask me, what do you do? I go, you shouldn't ask me that. You should ask me why I do. They go, that's an awkward question. Go ahead and try it. Why do you do? I help people with money. I enrich their lives because next to their family and their health, money is one of their most important things. It's extremely important. And I happen to be, whether it's arrogant or not, I think we do it so well that we're hurting people by not helping them. And that's why I think it's really important that we aim our growth at helping as many people as we can possibly do. So we start things on the growth team with everything with a mission, vision, and a value. Our mission is to create a process by which all of us are thinking about growth. And I know some of you are in the room going, I don't know why I'm in this room. I'm a CSS, or I'm the receptionist, or I'm the compliance officer, or whatever the case is. That's not the policy. Do you believe people need to know more about money? That's the question. Do you know anyone needs to know more about money, including yourself? Absolutely. So if that's the case, our mission is to create organic growth to all our constituents, to ourselves, to our clients, to their kids, to their parents, to our COIs, to everyone. And that policy is going to be a relatively simple thing. We're going to build an audience. We're going to tell them. We're not going to sell them. We're going to tell them. We're going to take that audience and convert them in some way, shape, or form. We might convert them just by having them do something simple. So for example, you got a kid over the age of 18. They should have a HIPAA power of attorney. What's that? A HIPAA waiver says if the kid gets hurt, you can act on their behalf. I had this happen. I'm a lawyer. I'm off in British Columbia shooting a large object intending to eat it. And I get a call on a satellite phone that says my daughter got hit by a car in Washington, D.C., my 18-year-old daughter. And I get back on the phone for the brief second where I can get a satellite phone at $80 a minute, roughly. And I intercept the nurse at the GW hospital. And they said, we can't tell you anything about your daughter's condition because she's adult. You can't have it. You don't have a HIPAA waiver. And I start pounding my chest and being a lawyer. And I go, give me a supervisor. I'm going to take care of this. And I get the nursing supervisor, and the nursing supervisor says, you're a lawyer. I go, yeah. She goes, you know what a HIPAA waiver is? I go, yeah. She goes, give me one and I'll talk about your kid. I go, God. She goes, you got this straight? I go, yeah. She goes, okay, she's okay. See ya. Click. That was it. But I mean, that was an audience successful process. We gave people something. So that's what we're going to try to do. Take the audience, convert them into something useful, even if all it is internal, and then hopefully they'll become a tribe of raving fans. Think of how many people we serve well. Almost all of them. They should be our raving fans. So we have our values. We want to earn trust, be team-based. We are independent, meaning we are independent, and Tom covered this last night. We are passionate. Now I'm not, but some of us are passionate about what we do. We do comprehensive planning. We have long-term relationships, but probably the most important thing is we are relentlessly in pursuit of our full potential, which means we should be trying to figure out how many people we can tell about what we do. So we've come up with a 9-step plan, okay? I'm going to go through the 9 steps, and your playbook, by the way, details this. And the playbook is not an instruction manual. It is a continuous process. So we on the growth team will help you. We'll coach you. We'll take you through this. We're not done. This isn't done today. This is the pirate map. But here's our pirate map. Step 1, who should know more about us? Step 2, what's on their mind? What's their favorite radio station? WIIFM. What does that mean? What's in it for me? What's the media? Are we going to give them podcasts? Are we going to give them videos? Are we going to talk to them? What are we going to do to get to them? How are we going to nurture them and bring them through the process? When do they cease being suspects and turn into audience? And when do they cease being audience and turn into prospects? And when do they cease being prospects and turn into leads? And then finally, how do we convert them? And I'll give you a really, really easy example. I bet you every one of our clients files a tax return. And I'll bet you every one of them has somebody who files a tax return, either them or someone else. And I bet you on that tax return is a piece of information at the bottom line called the paid preparer. And I bet you that's somebody who should know about us. Hey, Julie, we shared Mr. Smith. You do your tax return. I like your work. Why don't we get together after tax season? I'll buy you a cup of coffee. Let's do it. Hey, Amy, you're the attorney on my client. I saw you did some good work. I like your estate plans. Why don't we get together? You know, we have about 4,000 clear clients here at Sequoia. Some of them are going to ask for attorneys. How's the attorney feel? How's Amy feel? How's the client feel? Wow, my attorneys and my financial advisors are talking to each other. Amazing. How do we convert? How do we turn a COI into a referrer? This could be a Cohen person, or it could be another CPA, or it could be an insurance salesman, or it could be a real estate person, or it could be somebody in a nonprofit. We've had some remarkable leads come from nonprofits. And then how do we deliver world-class service? This is probably the one all of you know how to do. How do we wow them? How do we dazzle them? So when somebody comes to our front desk in Troy, Katie greets them and talks to them and gives them coffee, and then she listens and says, oh, it's your anniversary, and puts that in Salesforce. And what happens next year? We send them an anniversary card. Or weird ones, my favorite, because I love dogs. We send their dog a little collar with their name and cell phone number on it. You know how much traction we've gotten off of that $30 dog collar? And when they have a puppy, we send the puppy a card. Dear Fluffy, happy birthday. Here's some biscuits. Go out for a walk with your mom and dad. Or we send their IRA a 70.5 birthday card. That's what we want to work on. We want to increase the customer value. Upsell, downsell. They got kids, how do we help their kids? They've got parents, how do we help their parents? They got coworkers, how do we help their coworkers? And last but not least, how do we build a tribe of raving fans? And please, you can do it if you want. Don't go into the sleazy, we need referrals. Can you refer me to anybody? I have a really good referral technique. I always ask for help. I don't ask for a client, I ask for help. So Sarah asked me what's going on. How's it going? It's going great, Sarah. I'm having a riot, but I'm working on this new project. I'm working on recession opportunities. And I'm trying to figure out what business owners need to do when a recession comes, because I have all these great anecdotal stories, and I'm looking for a CPA that could talk to me about it. Who do you know over at Cohen I could go talk to?
Here's my whole phone book.
Yeah, here's my whole phone book. What did I just do? Did I get a referral? I just got a ton. What did Sarah feel like? I helped Leon. I get over at Cohen. I talk to my friends at Cohen. Hey, Rich, this is Leon from over at Sequoia. Hey, I'm working on this recession opportunity kit. I think it's going to be really, really helpful for some of our clients. Can I pick your brain for 5 minutes? Yeah. You got anybody in the metal bending business? I want to talk to them about what happens in a recession. Cool, Leon, I'll hook you up. We'll call Uptown together. That's it. Simple. Find them, take great care of them, love them, work with them. So let's talk about the first step. The first step is, who should know about us? Obviously, existing clients. I bet a lot of our clients don't know all the things we do. I bet they don't know that we have an IRA book. You probably don't know that we have an IRA book. I bet they don't know that we have 60 little videos on financial planning, like how to take a selfie of your house. I bet some of you don't know that we have 60 little videos on that. Are they centers of influence? Centers of influence are people that can bring us more clients. A CPA might have 100 clients or 200 clients. A lawyer might have thousands of clients that he all bills at the same time. No, that's not true. What about prospects? See, no lawyers in the room. If I had lawyers in the room, they all would have got that. Lawyers usually have 2 kids. They name them Bill and Sue. But we want to talk about them. Where are they? What's the geo? What's the demo? What's the psycho? What's the geo? Where are they? What's the demo? What do they like? And what's the psycho? Most important, what do they think? What's their epic problem? How do we solve their epic problem? So here's an exercise for you. How many orange cars did you see in the last 24 hours? None of you know. I do, because I look for orange cars. If I told you for the next 24 hours I want to measure the number of orange cars you've seen, you'd remember. In fact, you'd come back tomorrow and say, I won't be here, but if I was, you'd say, I saw 12, or I saw 14. And it's because you were looking for orange cars. And by the way, you can take this as a spiritual exercise, which is where I use it. If you're looking for something, you find it, seek and you'll find. But I also look at it as if you are looking for an opportunity, you will find it. If you're looking for an opportunity to wow a client, you'll find it. If you're looking for a prospective client, you will find it. If you are looking for a COI, you will find them. So we look and we find. So what do we want out of this? We're going to start with an easy concept. We want clients we like. Okay? No PETA. No PETAs. We want clients who we like to serve. Guns and Hoses is a great example. Dawn, do we like cops and firefighters? We love them because they are fun. They are sheepdogs. They are honest people. They have a giant mission in life to save our lives, and it's a great thing. We love them. They love us. They love us because why? Because we know more about their pensions than anybody, including their employers. And do we make money off them? Yes. So no more fog a mirror, we want them. Oh, you need an IRA for your kid and you're a market timer? No, we don't want that. Oh, you want to know more about pot stocks? No. That's a budding industry, but we're not in it. So we should have E, V, and P. We want to enjoy them, we want them to value us, and then we want to be profitable. We also want to find blue oceans. A blue ocean that Tom talked about last night is where we aren't. So for example, Dawn and Matthew have been doing Guns and Hoses in Michigan. We think we can do Guns and Hoses in Ohio. There's only 19,000 cops in Ohio and only 19,000 firefighters in Ohio. And I joke around that Dawn and Matthew and I are the only people who drive down the Michigan highways and see a cop and go, cool, a client. But the idea is, how do we find some of those places? And a blue ocean, obviously, is Cohen. That's a beautiful blue ocean. So what are we going to do? How do we get in their head? So one of my targets, and I'll share this with you in about 2 weeks, I'm going to share with you a one-page thing that takes you through the 9 steps. And I'm going to share mine, because I do several, but I'm going to share the one I'm going to use for business owners. So in my end, I call the business owner VITO. V-I-T-O, very important top officer. So Vito is the boss. Now, if somebody works for Vito, we call him Tom Hayden. Tom Hayden is Vito's consigliere. He's like John Nemechek. He's the accountant. He's the smart guy. He's real super smart, but he guards the fort. And so when Vito wants something, he says, Tom, what do you think? Now, do I want to talk to Tom? Yes. But do I want to talk to Vito? Yes. But Vito's epic problem and Tom's epic problem are two different things. Vito's got 4 things on his mind. I want to make more money. I want to spend less money. I don't want to get in trouble, and I want more time. And don't waste any of mine, damn it. Give me 30 seconds to tell me why I should talk to you. Now, on the other hand, Tom Hayden's going, I want to serve Vito better. Tell me how you can let me serve Vito better. And I want to make money and I want to do all these other things, but I want to be great. We're more like the Tom Haydens. But if you think about if I was going to go sell Tom Hot something, how much time do I get? Is he going to sit down and listen to me for an hour on the first time? Or is he going to listen to me for 15 seconds? Hey, Tom, I got a great idea. It's going to make you $1 million, save you some money, make sure you're compliant, and you're going to have more time to go spend with Amy. I'm in. Tell me. So I want to tell me more. So we want to get into that epic idea, WIIFM, FM radio, and that is what's on their mind, what's in it for me. In your playbook, you're going to see MBTIs. That's personality profiles. You're going to see the kinds of people, and when you go into the MBTI, you're going to see Tom Hott, one of them right there. You're going to see Randy Meyerhoff. And you're going to see that UC Berkeley studied CPAs, and 42% of all CPAs fit into one MBTI type. And you're probably going to figure out after listening to me for 45 minutes, there's a nutcase in there, and that's Leon's MBTI. So we're going to ask each of you to try to come up with a target 100 and a strategic 100. The target 100 are who are people that we know that should know more about us that we could do more for. That could be clients. The strategic 100 are the 100 people we could talk to that will know people that we should do things for, who should know more about us. So strategic would be their lawyers, our clients' lawyers, our clients' CPAs, people who went to our same clients' colleges, people who went to our advisors' colleges. You'll see a scan I did in there on hunting. So I'm a hunter, and I was hunting on LinkedIn. And I hunted all the businesses in Akron.
because I thought that would be a pretty good target. If we got a business in Akron, that would be pretty good. That'd be a good client. There's only about 15,700 businesses now. Okay, so I said, all right, well, that's good, but that's too many. So I said, how many of those are owned by somebody? Just one person. And narrow that down to about 380 that have been in business for 10 years, that they've been the owner for at least 10 years. Better. How many of them are old codgers like me, which means they're thinking about transitioning? Got it down to about 180. How many of them went to the University of Akron? 84. How many of our advisors went to the University of Akron? 5. Guess what? We just found some targets. We just found the target 100. And by the way, every single one of them have 2 additional strategics, don't they? Lawyer, CPA. And you know what the bonus round would be? Same CPA. Hey, I see you do business with a whole bunch of guys that own business that went to the University of Akron. I went to the University of Akron. Why don't we get together and talk about how we might work together? Wow. We're getting somewhere. We're getting into the people's head and we're serving them. So there's an interface between the targets and the strategic audience. There's the people that we want to look at, the business owner. There's the attorney, the CPA, their interests, the retirement plan, their nonprofits, and all the other parts of it. I was looking through and seeing how many times our advisors go work on nonprofit boards, or they go work at Children's Hospital, they work at the University of Akron Children's Center. And I just pop up the board of directors. What do you think the board of directors looks like for Children's Hospital? Pretty good. Pretty good environment for CLIs? Hey, we share an interest. We're both on the board. Love to hear more about you. Love to hear what you do. That'd be great. So our target audience would be business owners. It would be executives. It would be affluent families. It would be retirees. We'd have affinity groups or employees of companies. We've been doing Ford Motor Company for years. Ford is a client. We teach them about their 401k plan. Imagine that. But we pick up Ford executives and we pick up other folks. Cohen and Company CPAs, other CPAs, CFOs, M&A attorneys, estate planning attorneys, orange cars. And there's a lot of ways to find this. Austin's our wizard at Intel. He's our Intel gathering machine. He is our LinkedIn ninja. He and Britt are LinkedIn ninjas. And if you want, gather your group and we'll take you through and run you through a LinkedIn scan. You know how long it took me to find the 84 in the University of Akron? 4 minutes. So we can dig it through and find it. Or we can go to Crunchbase, or we can go to Google Alerts. Imagine you're targeting somebody at the University of Akron and you Google alert University of Akron. And somebody publishes an article and you go, I read your article, it was awesome. They don't know you care until you show how much, they don't care how much you know until you know how much they know how much you care. Okay? All right, second step, what message do we want to get them? We do not want to tell them about us. We want to tell them about them. The most important thing in us trying to serve people is to find out what the heck they want to know. What do they want to know? What's their epic problem? What's keeping them up at night? So we're going to have 3 criteria. And Tom and I have been having fun because you get to know it. He and I get to go out and do CNBC and Reuters and stuff like that. And Tom's a pretty straight-laced guy, just like me, really straight-laced. And so Tom's very straight-laced, and he said, well, we're going to be on these interviews. What do we talk about? I go, well, don't talk about asset allocation. He goes, why? I go, because everybody talks about asset allocation. Talk about something different. And that's when I told him. And he said, well, what if they ask me about it? I go, don't answer it. Do a politician thing. Tell them what you want to tell them. So I'm on CNBC. We want to talk today about Netflix. I go, okay, that's nice. Netflix is nice. Let's talk about recessions. Recessions will affect Netflix. Oh, really? Tell us about that. So first and foremost, we're going to have a 3-phase piece of messages. They're consequential. Consequential means they do something. They help value. Here's a consequential message. Take that cell phone out sometime over the weekend and take a selfie of your house and send it up to the web. Why'd you do that? Because if the house burns down or a hurricane blows it down or it floods, you got a record of what's in your house. Could you name everything that's in your house right now? Probably not. Matter of fact, if you're in your kitchen, you probably got 2 drawers by your kitchen, right? One right next to your sink's got silverware in it. It's all in a little organizer that's usually plastic, and all the little knives are on one side, and the spoons got their butts together, and then the forks are there. And then in the next drawer, you got a bunch of crap. I bet you can't even name the contents of the crap drawer. Much less, you can't name the contents of your closet, or the contents of your toolbox, or the contents of every part of your house. Selfie on the house, good idea? Consequential? Yes. Second thing is a unique message. You need to allocate your assets in retirement. That's not a unique message. You need to take a selfie of your house. That's a pretty unique message. The third thing is it should be viral. You should go, you know, that's a really good idea. I'm going to share that. I'm going to tell my sister. I'm going to tell my friends. That's what we want. Consequentiality, uniqueness, virality. And we want to tell them why they should listen to us. They should understand why. We know we're great. We know that we are great at what we do. And we know we're going to get better at what we do. But they ought to understand we're here to educate and plan, not to sell. We are telling, we're not selling. And we have the long view. We're looking to the long horizon. We're not looking tomorrow. We're looking at the long horizon of where you're going to be 10 years from now, where you're going to be 20 years from now, where you're going to be 30 years from now. And we got enough firepower, look around the room, we got enough firepower to do whatever you pretty much need to do. We're big enough and small enough. We're not Mellon Bank, but we're as smart as Mellon Bank. But we're not as big as Mellon Bank, so you're going to get us. You're going to get what you paid for. So you want to focus on the results. Another trick I always do, and it works like a charm, is I put a three-page piece together. What I'm worried about is A. And the proof, the solution to that problem is B. And the proof is C. And the call to action is D. So Sean, I'm looking at the world's the longest expansion in U.S. history right now. Really long expansion. We got this long expansion. Longest expansion, if it goes to July, longest expansion since 1780. Sooner or later, we're going to get a recession. And what I'm worried about is that people aren't going to be prepared for recessions. And what they should realize is that recessions are opportunities. And the solution is to get ready for the recession before it happens. So you ought to go through your business and check all your accounting stuff. And you ought to go through your business and get some dry powder and have some cash. So when the crap hits the fan, we'll be able to go buy stuff and hire people. And we'll be able to crush the competition because weak ones will perish. And we should weaponize social media. And the proof is that Microsoft started in a recession, and GE started in a recession, and FedEx started in a recession. So what you ought to do is go to our website and download all our stuff on recession opportunities. You want me to come out and help you? I'll help you. Let's do this. So, know the message. What do they want? WIIFM. And here's some things we have. You probably don't know all the things we have. But we have Small Good Choices, which is on the back of your customized name tags. And by the way, Lisa did a great job, I think, of customizing your books. Did you notice that you have a customized playbook to you? So, which I'm amazed at, but Lisa amazes. If you ever see anything when it looks terrific because she does it. I'm trying to get her to do my wardrobe, but she won't do that. But I do have skull and crossbones, the lining of the jacket, which I think is very cool. 50 Good IRA Ideas, the next thing. You'll be seeing that soon. We already have it ready to roll, 2019 edition. And I challenge almost everybody. In fact, I challenge smart CPAs and smart planners. And I usually bet them something really important like a martini, that no one knows all the 50 good IRA ideas. So for example, you can fund an HSA with an IRA, but a lot of you didn't know that. And for example, you can fund it, you can make a kid a millionaire by funding a Roth IRA for him between the ages of 16 and 22. And for example, you can convert your mom's IRA into a Roth and save a whole bunch of taxes for yourself. And there's 47 more ideas in there. So you think people would want to know some of those, are consequential, viral, and unique? Yes. We've got Building Your Financial Future, which is a class on how to do basic financial planning. We're thinking about doing something like that for us and Cohen. We've got Estate Planning, how to protect your family. These are books. We've got a Trustee Manual, which is about a 90-page guide for people who have revocable living trusts. We got a really cool one I did out of MIT with Joe Coughlin called 8,000 Days. It's about longevity planning. It's about, and that's a video, you can look at it. We have tax and CPA materials. In my spare time in Detroit, I teach CPAs about taxes, which is really, really interesting because they're all so excitable. We have the Recession Opportunity Kit, which is coming up, and that's going to be massive. We've got basically 12 videos. We've got 3 more videos that Russ and I did. We've got papers. And you probably know that I had the privilege of being named a Forbes.com contributor. So now I'm writing for Forbes. And I'm writing, of course, the first 12 articles on recession opportunities, which we're going to link back to our videos, which we're going to link back to our webpage, which is going to link back to all our stuff. We've got Permanent Capital, which is the big dream, which is why I'm here in the first place. Tom and I got excited over drinking too much wine and thought it would be a great idea to teach business owners how to preserve their wealth. And so imagine a series on that in an exciting fashion that takes business owners through what they're supposed to do. We've got a whole web page on lump sums and lump sum analysis, which is when people leave a company and get a lump sum, they can do something with it. And then probably one of our great blue oceans is we do Guns and Hoses, which is retirement planning for cops and firefighters in Michigan. And eventually you'll see that in Ohio. We're going to get it to Ohio eventually. And then eventually, once we figure out how to do that, we'll get it to Pennsylvania and we'll get it to Florida or who knows where. I don't know where. We'll keep going. There's a few cops and firefighters in the United States, like about 1.2 million. So that's a decent client base. Okay, so how do we deliver the message? We've got digital means, we've got traditional means, we've got all kinds. As you sort through your book, we intentionally, the growth team intentionally gave you a book. We intentionally put your name on it. We intentionally put a pen with it. We intentionally put it in a bag. We intentionally gave you a name tag that you'll keep so you'll remember us. And if you browse around the book, you might find little surprises. And you might find a couple little cute surprises, and I won't tell you what they all are, but there's some cool surprises in your book that also are personalizing and making you think and be compelling about this. So we are putting something in your mind, audience. Because you are our audience. You are the growth team's audience. So we're giving you something real old-fashioned. But we can make this digital and send it out to a whole bunch of people. Or we could take Recession Opportunity Kit and put it on CNBC and Forbes. Then that's air cover. That's like bombers. And then we could send in some laser-guided artillery and send one to a specific person. And then our advisors go into hand-to-hand combat and go knock it off. But that's how it works. We can do Twitter, blogs, LinkedIn, press, and actually Megan's come up with a brilliant idea. We do a video. We take the video and audio and into a podcast. We take the podcast and transcribe it into a blog, and guess what? One and done. Shark bite. So I'm talking to a PhD in Michigan about yield curve inversions, which sounds really ominous, but it's the precursor to a recession. We spend about 4.5 minutes? Do about 4.5 minutes on it. We edit it down, turn it into a podcast. We now have video on the YouTube channel. We have a podcast, and we have a blog, and you can send it to somebody. Somebody said, so when the news comes out that the 210 yield curve inverted, and the client calls you up and says, what about this recession thing? You go, got something right on it. I got it for you. And as a matter of fact, what Trevor and our team are working on is you'll have a button you could push. You just puts the button and the content goes. Boom, deliver content, poof. Deliver this content, poof. I was so excited hearing where we're going in the future. It's like, wow, this is great. You know, most of you don't know this, but I grew up in a little different era than a lot of you. I grew up programming mainframes. So in '72, I was trying to program a mainframe to play chess. And in the course of trying to program a mainframe to play chess, I ran out of space on a large IBM mainframe after the first move and a half. So I gave up on that project because it was impossible to make it do it at all. So I used punch cards and all kinds of other wild junk to make this thing try to work, and it never could work because there wasn't enough power in the system to do it. So now we've got the ability to launch and do things on an amazing basis and do that. So watching Trevor earlier today was like, whoa, this is so cool, I can't wait. So the fourth step is, where do they fit? We find our audience leads. And I think I'm going to characterize it politely both ways. There are both kinds of people. There are hunters, people who go out and seek opportunities. And there are farmers, those who nurture and care for opportunities. And we need both. A firm of all hunters would be useless. It would be terrible. It would be a place where everybody's going out to get the client and no one's taking care of the clients. A place of all farmers would be okay, but we'd all starve to death. Because the clients would eventually die, and unless we really farmed well and got the second generation, we wouldn't have any clients. In fact, we'd have to get them in the first place, and it's pretty hard for farmers to create business in the first place. So we need both down the idea. When we're capturing leads, farmers capture leads. The lawyers, the CPAs, the clients, the children of the clients, those are all prospects. And we want high probability. And we want to have leverage, that's a CPA or someone else. We want to have efficiency. We want to be able to deliver our content simply. We don't want to make this a bunch of work. So for example, we're thinking about when we give you the IRA book, we're going to give you a button. Because you'll say, wow, that IRA book's really cool. I should send this out, but there's no way in hell I'm going to send this out to 100 people. I can't do it. We give you a button. Want to send this out? Good. We'll send it out for you. Want us to put a note from you? It won't be hand signed, but we'll put it out for you. By the way, if you want a ninja technique of Leon's, if you do manage to find, anybody finds a little note in your book from me, you'll notice it was written in a certain color ink, and just recognize that that was intentional. All right? We want expertise. We want to have this where we are the experts. And then last but not least, we want to penetrate that content. We don't want to just wash people with it. I don't know how many emails you get, but I get hundreds. I get hundreds of emails, and I throw almost all of them out. Next time you see one you pay attention to, ask yourself why. What was consequential about that email? What worked? What happened? So our funnel is we start with the universe. That's everybody. We don't want them. Suspects are people we might want to work with. Audience are people that listen to us. Prospects are people who nurture their way along. They listen to us more than once. They open our email. They watch our video. They like something. They asked us for information. Leads are people who say, hey, I really want to get with you. And then finally, clients are the people that we can convert to that. So our functionality of the message is we catch their attention, we create excitement, we capture the leads. They are low impact. We want to be guests, not pests. I do not want us to be the kind of person that's sending out a LinkedIn thing every day. I immediately start defollowing those people. They drive me nuts. For those of you on Facebook, you must have the Facebook annoyances that are always posting pictures of their cat doing something stupid, and they're always on it, on it, on it. We don't want to be there. We want to have something in there, being guests, not pests. And we are trying to raise our brand. The part I thought was really fun when we joined you guys is that when we all got together, the brand here should be magnificent. We are a magnificent firm. We are really, really good. We viewed Troy as a really, really good firm, and we viewed Sequoia as a really, really good firm, and Tom and I said together we can make this a really, really, really good firm. And we aren't telling the story. A lot of people don't know about us. They've heard about us a little bit, but they should hear about us more. We should be telling the story more, and that's brand awareness. And we should talk about the benefits of working with us versus working with other people. And then we are going to track it, so you can figure out what works and what doesn't work. So how do we nurture the leads? We're going to give them help, but we got to do it over time. Nurturing a lead or brand awareness is not one and done. You don't do it once. So you don't send one recession opportunity kit. And the reason, by the way, that IRA Ideas is not one book on IRAs, we could have written the book and said, all the things you need to know about IRAs. We would have sold one book. Or we could say, 50 things you need to know about IRAs. And by the way, the IRA book is going to turn into something really cool, we hope. We're almost there. We've got it almost approved to do it as nano CPE education for CPAs. So imagine all our Cohen friends will be sitting there watching our video on IRAs and getting credit for it so they can get their CPA license passed. That will be one of the pieces. We could have done small good choices as, hey, here's a bunch of really good ideas for you. But instead we said, no, here's 60 little tiny good ideas for you. Here's 60 little tiny things you do. If you do them once at a time, they'll work. It's not the how to lose 12 pounds in a week. It's how to lose 12 pounds in a year. This week, exercise. 15 minutes. Next week, don't eat a cupcake. Next week, go get a foam roller and roll on it. And what happens if you keep doing that over 60 weeks? What if every week you did something? What if every week you took a small good choice and a small good choice and a small good choice? Don't judge me. I should not doing all the stuff I should be doing. So, we think that there is 10 steps. We think there's 10 places. At the first step, most people who send content give up. At the second step, 65% have given up. The third step, 79% have given up. The fourth step, 89% have given up. But if you get all the way to the ninth step, if you touch somebody 9 times, there's a 90% chance they're going to talk to you. There's a guy who's bugging me about lead nurturing, named Dr. Len Schwartz. And he bugs me, and bugs me, and bugs me, and bugs me. But he doesn't really drive me crazy. He just gives me enough to just sort of bug me until the last one he just sent. And I actually said, okay, you've annoyed me 17 times because I counted it. You've annoyed me 17 times, but now I know who you are. You can at least have the 15 minutes to tell me what you're doing. Now, I don't know if I'll buy anything from him, but it worked. He did it. He persisted. He persisted until he won. So how do we convert? I always think the most important thing we do, and the thing that drives me nuts, and if you've ever bought anything from anybody, I hate when they sell me stuff. Makes me insane. I hate a car guy trying to sell me a car. In fact, I'm such a pain in the ass to sell a car too. I don't want to let it happen. They come in and go, yeah, let me show you this. I go, no. I want a Ford F-150 with a Coyote V8. I want it in blue and green. I got a plan, and I pay cash. You want to sell the car now? Yep. But I think we ask questions. We should ask probing questions. So I built out 4 probing questions. Situation. What's your situation? So tell me about you. Tell me about you. Where are you at? How old are the kids? How's it in the job? How long have you been there? How are things going? What do you like to do? What would be your dream? What's your epic problem? What's your situation? Where are you? Where are you? Where were you and where are you now? What's your problem? What's the epic problem you need solved? In fact, a very effective way when I talk to people is say, look, we don't have a lot of time together, and I'm really kind of a servant guy. I like to serve people. If we could do one thing in our meeting, what would it be? What would I help you with? What would be the one thing I could do for you that would make it work? What do you want to know that's the most important thing? You ever notice some people that are smart immediately try to jump to the solution? They're almost immediately trying to jump to the solution. They're trying to get, here's a solution, here's a solution, here's a solution. In fact, I've had an annoying dentist that was like that. My annoying dentist was always trying to get rid of my old fillings and put new fillings in, and I immediately started suspecting that she just wanted the money. I go to my new dentist. My new dentist looks at my teeth, and I go, do I need my teeth fixed up? He goes, no, they're fine. They'll last another 5-6 years. He goes, I'll let you know. What's he got now? He's got a relationship. And my suspicion of my old dentist is true. What's the implication? What's the implication of their problem? I'm worried about not having enough money to retire on. Oh, okay. Why? I got 800 grand in my 401k. I don't think that's enough. Why? And by the way, a trick. You can do this for your kids. It's great. It's called 5 Whys. So my son, who's a genius, lost his passport. Alex, you lost your passport. Why? Well, I don't know where I put it. Why? Well, because I put it somewhere after I used it. Why? Why did you put it somewhere? Well, because I thought it would be in a safe place. Well, why did you think wherever it was a safe place? By the way, he eventually found it after he spent $500 going to get a new passport. He found it in the dog's dish, with the dog collar, under the dog collars. That was a good safe place to put a passport, I think. So 5 Whys get you through the implication. Why do you think $800,000 is not enough? I don't think it is. What if I told you that 4% withdrawal is pretty good? Okay. If you had an extra 32 grand a year, would that be okay? With inflation? Well, yeah. Then why are you concerned about this? Well, can I get 4%? What if I told you that over 30 years, in every running average of a balanced portfolio, we made more than 4%? Oh. Now I got my problem solved. And then what's the need payoff? What's the need and what's the payoff? What you needed is to know if that's going to work. What's the payoff? You're okay. You're okay. We have a giant client. I go down to see her every year. She comes in and we look at it. I go all the reports, ready to roll. Got my reports. I'm ready. Got a ready thing. Then we can run a portfolio theory. I'm going to tell her everything else. She sits down. She orders a glass of champagne. She goes, how am I doing? I go, you're good. She goes, am I okay? She goes, write that on my report and sign it. You're okay. She goes, do I have more than I had last year? Yep. Am I going to run out of money? Not so far. You're taking out 3%, we're making 7%, you're good. I'll let you know if it gets the other way. Works. Reduce the obstacles. Get around the Madoff effect. I usually address that up front. What's the risk of working with Madoff? They'll steal your money. How about us? Well, your money's at Schwab, it's at Fidelity, we can't get to it. You're better, you're safer. By the way, we're a fiduciary. We're not selling you stuff. We're not making money off of what we do for you. By the way, we might be doing planning. That's probably the most important thing in your life is us doing a plan. So let's work it from there. Tell. Don't sell. So our conversion points. I hate pushy salespeople. Now, by the way, saying that, having said I hate pushy salespeople, and my people will tell you that I drive them crazy, I like to have the paperwork prepared when a prospect comes in. I like to have the account statements and everything ready to go. I'll take you through the stream in a minute. But somebody will come in and they go, wow, this sounds great. This sounds like exactly what I should be doing. I would love to do this. I think we should get started. I go, I do too. And I open up my folder and I go, here's the paperwork. Now, in our case, we've already asked them to fill out a questionnaire. So we've already asked them. We know a lot of information about them. We know their financial statement. We know their balance sheet. We know their income. We've gotten their tax returns. We know them. So when they walk in the meeting, it's a working meeting. It's not a sales pitch. It's a working meeting. But I'll say, and don't worry about it. We've got this sound. We've got this smooth. So you can delay the sale or you can have the sale ready to roll. I think you always educate and consult. You don't sit there and try to sell. And I'm a big fan of take the puppy home. I love puppies. I have one. And if you take the puppy home, you're going to keep the puppy. So one thing that's always worked in Guns N' Hoses, and it always has worked in everything else, is we go, look, you heard about us. You want to do stuff. Why don't we spend an hour together? Not going to be a sales pitch. I'm not going to talk about that. We're going to talk about, I'm going to show you how we do things. Let me show you. I'm going to do a little mini financial plan. Might even be on a 3x5 card. But if it's worth your while, then let's think about working together. Let's think about it. Let's get to know each other and see if this works, but let's try it out. Let's date. We don't have to get married right away. Let's date. So let's work it that way. Creating a sense of urgency is irrespective of whether you work with us or not, you got to do these things. See, my easy one as a lawyer, I go, look, you need an estate plan. I always ask them, do you have an estate plan? No, I got to get around to it. I go, by the time you get around to it, when you need one, you can't get it. There's only 3 ways you are in the world. You're okay, you're not okay, or you're dead. If you're okay, we can talk about Roth IRAs and 50 good IRA ideas. If you're not okay, you darn well better have a healthcare power of attorney, or you're going to be sitting there on life support and we're going to have to put somebody out on a conservatorship for you. And if you're dead, it'll be a bigger problem for us than you because you won't know. But we ought to have a will and a beneficiary designation. And I usually say, and I don't care what you do, but go get your estate plan done. Because I'm going to not sleep at night worrying about you getting hit by a car. And almost always they go, well, I don't want to worry you. I don't want you to be upset. I don't want you to feel bad. Good, then get your butt out and go get an estate plan. In Michigan, we do them, but here you just say, let's call a friend of mine who's an attorney. We'll get you over there. Go see him. When you get a reference, arm your sponsor. This is what I'm going to do. This is how it's going to work. When they come see us, this is what's going to happen. We're going to talk to them. We're going to show them some things. We're going to give them a little sample. We're going to tell them about what we do. I'm going to call them the next day, follow up. I'm going to send them an email. That's how it works. So the sponsor feels okay. They don't have to worry about it. And then coach the breakup. Coach the breakup basically means stones in the stream. How often have you heard this one? Well, I don't know. I don't want to call my old advisor. By the way, this is an interesting stat. I want you to think about this. We've made it to what? Number 60, what are we, number 65 in the country or something?
For what?
Size of RIA. Aren't we the 65th biggest RIA in the country? So you realize we got, what, $4.4 billion? Come on, I didn't mean to pick on you. But.
Yes, 4.1,
So we got $4.1 billion. Every single one of those $4.1 billion came from somebody else. No one has a magic money machine. I wish I did. They push the button and go, quick, $100 bills coming up. No, it all came from somebody else. So every single time we got a date and got married, somebody else got broken up with. We took it away from somebody else. So when I say coach the breakup, I go, look, here's how it goes. See the stream? We're going to walk across the stream. Step 1 in the stream, you're going to sign this thing called an ACAT form. Step 2 is you don't have to call your old advisor. You can if you want. If it's your brother-in-law, your son-in-law, call them. But you don't have to. They've been sticking you in A-loaded funds all this time. Maybe you shouldn't call them. But it doesn't matter. Whatever, you can call them or not call them, but you don't have to call them. Step 3 is we've got all the paperwork ready to roll. We can do it on laser apps and get it done for you. Step 4 is as soon as it comes in, we're going to let you know and bring you back in and we'll talk about it. They go, well, that sounds pretty easy. Yeah, it is. Really easy. You can get this thing started right away. This is a simple breakup. So we offer the stepping stones. Because when you hit the wall and you don't know what you're supposed to do, you won't do it. It's paralysis. And we want to get around that. So this is the easy one and the fun one for most of the people in this room is how do we deliver world-class service? How do we do wow? How do we build those relationships? How do we know what their grandkids like? How do we know if their grandkids are soccer fans? How do we know what else they want to know about? What's valuable to them? What do they care the most about? And I always like to make it fun. So a client will come in, and I may have watched what they were doing. So we've had one where we had a client who was like a wizard of cars. And he had built this hyper-efficient diesel engine for GM. And he ended up in an auto show, because I was paying attention to him. He ended up in an auto show, and he was doing a video. So when he came back into the office, he wasn't a client at the time, he was a prospect, Mike Seacrest. And so Mike comes in the office, and he sits in the office, and he goes, hey, how's it going? And I go, how's it going with you? And I pop up his video on the screen. And then I start making fun of him, because I was speeding it up and slowing it down and everything else. Well, he thought that was hysterical, and he also thought it was really cool that I would pull up his video. And now he gave us his money, which is what, $1.2 million, $1.5 million, something like that. And now he's our prime follower on LinkedIn, and he sends all our stuff out, and he thinks, oh, God, these guys are so cool, and they're fun. And I go back to my very first phase. I don't think 5 years from now we should be trying to get any client we don't want to work with. I don't think we should want any client that we don't love, that they don't love us back. Just like any relationship. I love you, you don't love me, this ain't going to work. I hate you, you love me, this ain't going to work. We love each other, we're good. Okay. So our 8th step, creating that lasting customer value. How do we upsell? How do we downsell? How do we bring it to their kids? How do we bring it to their parents? How do we bring it to their CPAs? How do we bring it to their accountants? There's a guy named Joe Girard, and he says you go to a Catholic funeral, there's 250 people there. You go to a Catholic wedding, there's 250 people there. They also serve mustacholi and chicken, but that's not there. And if you go to an Italian wedding, they serve little eggs in a little net bag usually. I don't know if they do that in Ohio, but in Michigan, that's the big thing. You got these little Sicilian egg things. Everybody knows 250 people. Everybody knows somebody else. Everybody has family or attorneys or somebody or charities or something they like. They got an estate plan, that tells you who they like. They got a tax return, that tells you how much they make and who they work with. It's all there. You don't even ask them. It exists. But when you know their kid's birthday, you think that means a difference? By the way, you came in, oh, happy birthday to your son. How it's great. How's he doing? I see he's 18. Where's he going to college? What's happening? And then last, how do we orchestrate those referrals? These stats tell the truth. 4 times, somebody refers you to somebody 4 times, you're more likely to use them. So while we were working yesterday, a CPA in Michigan asked me if they could give me a referral on a forensic accountant. I sent the referral over. They go, thanks, I'm going to use them. Instantly, they did it because I was a trusted advisor to the CPA to help them get that. The customer value is 16% higher when we've been referred. And word of mouth drives 20 to 50%. And if we're doing this right, by the way, they'll look at us on the web because they verified us because somebody else talked about us. We shouldn't be a secret. So I use the ego. I go back and said this one before. I go, let me run you something by you. Almost everybody goes, no problem. Sure, of course. You're asking me for a favor? I'll do you a favor. Let me run something by you. I'm thinking about this. And I want to do something for someone you know. How can I help them? They can help me, but maybe I can help them. They can help me because I'm working on this recession opportunity kit, but maybe I can help them. Who do you know that would want to build $1 million for their kids because they're getting ready to go to college and want to give them some opportunities? Or who would you want to know that help their young kids get some savings built up so they can take money out of a Roth IRA on a FIFO basis? That might be a good thing. And then provide a reason. I need to talk to this person. And then follow up with the person who referred you. We send a bottle of wine. Client refers us, another client, we sell them a bottle of wine, under $50. And the $50 ones we keep, the $20 ones we send to clients. Yeah, note that. Send them a half. You know, because we send the 70 and a half birthday card. I should send them half a bottle of wine on their 70 and a half birthday. I think I'm going to do that. We follow up and send them. We also follow up. And I always send a handwritten card. I always handwrite a card in a certain color ink with a fountain pen to the client, to the referrer, saying thank you for the referral. I appreciate the confidence. I promise I will take the very best care of them and I'll let you know what happened. And then that referrer goes, wow, that worked. That was smooth. I didn't have to worry about it. Leon took care of it. So we put it all together. We start with audience. We use the laser. We turn them into clients or COIs. We turn them into raving fans. The CPA I referred to, by the way, is not a client. The CPA I was talking about, he has referred us, though, $30 million worth of business. So he's not a client, but he sent us $30 million worth of business. So he's a raving fan of us, but not a client of us, which is interesting. So the front end, we attract audience. We capture those leads, we nurture those leads, we get to the middle, we convert it to a referral or to a client, and on the back end, where the rubber hits the road, where most of the people in this room is, we deliver world-class service. We pay attention to them. We look for the orange cars. We increase their lifetime value, and we get a tribe of raving fans. In your playbook, there are sample plays. Where do we go from here? Hopefully you can see we have I think it's a well thought out growth plan. And I'll ask you this in a couple weeks after you've digested it a little bit. But I think we've come up with a way that we can grow the firm by our appropriate means, which is to give everybody the why they should work with us, why people should know more about us. So as we go forward, we're going to come up with plays, and your groups can each say that. Now, some people are going to say, Jerry and Sarah are going to go, well, there's a few things in there that I could use. I'm not going to go out and get leads, but I'm going to definitely have COIs and do some of those things. Those are people I know. I can do that. Others of you who are CSSs, I know Karen's probably sitting here going, I can do this. This is going to be awesome. Dawn is a great example of somebody who does all these things. Dawn has all this thing in her head. She's running it in a system already as a process. But we want it to be a process. So I think earlier we said it's going to take 10 contacts before you remember us. Hopefully less. But we're not giving up after the first round. We don't do that. Not dead, can't quit. So we're going to give you the next follow-up, which is a one-page sheet that you could just stick in your Carol or whatever you want is what your target is. And I'm going to give you a sample of one I use. Then we're going to give you the IRA book and show you how that works. We're going to help build the system by which you can do some of the referrals. We'll be introducing things like the Recession Opportunity Kit. But I'm going to ask you all to start looking for the orange cars. I'm going to ask you all to seek our opportunities and find those and give us the opportunities to keep growing this. Because as our client base grows, we grow. And as you heard today, as we grow, we all can be more profitable, we can make more money, we can have more time. You know, I'm hearing the fact that we can be able to deliver to more people but still have more time for ourselves. Inside our heads, I would like to do well for my clients. I would like to make more money. I would like to have more time with my kids. If we do this right, we can do that. I don't want everybody to have more work. I want everybody to have more opportunities. And I would like to have opportunities for the firm. Okay? So, questions? I always say when there's a dead silent crowd, it's either good or bad. So questions. No questions. Was it good or bad? Okay, that's important. Just any comments before we break up? How are we doing, boss? We on time or right on time? We're overtime. Okay, so all right. So that figures. I will be around. Megan will be around. Angie will be around. If you need things, go through us. We will be following up with you. As you dig through your things, there's one cool thing near the end. If you go right near the end of the book, there's one really fun thing that Lisa did. So go to page 70. And those are real sequoia seeds. So I will give a Starbucks gift card to the first person who can grow a sequoia tree. Yeah. And if you can grow a full-size one in less than 2,000 years, I'll be really impressed with that. All right, guys, thank you very much.